welcome to my channel. After about a month of feeling super uninspired to make anything, I found this gorgeous deep purple linen fabric and I have a really good idea for it. After that, about 5 other ideas for other projects popped into my head and I'm back on the sewing train. I even picked up a new serger because mine has not been working for quite some time now and I am so excited to get started. Let's talk about the design. As you can see here, it's a skirt and a pretty simple top. The bodice will be made up of 3 pieces, one for this main front piece and 2 back pieces that will just be long rectangles essentially to tie into a bow. The sleeve will be pretty fitted and then have 2 gathered ruffles right at the beginning of where the elbow starts. And then just a skirt with a side front seam that will turn into a slit, a simple waistband, and a gathered ruffly hem if there's enough fabric. I don't even want to tell you how long it took me to draft up this pattern, but I've been at it all day. I have my little mock-up here and I'm pretty happy with it. It'll be a 1/2 inch smaller, you know, around the neck hole, the armholes. There will be sleeves. And then in the back, I'm going to have 2 long rectangles attached to either side and it'll tie into a nice big bow. So yeah, I think I'm going to cut my pieces out of the linen now and probably get the rest of my pattern pieces ready to go and finish everything else tomorrow.
Red with a gold lion for Gryffindor, blue with a bronze eagle for Ravenclaw, yellow with a black badger for Hufflepuff, and green with a silver serpent for Slytherin.
Here are some quick shots of all of the pieces that I cut out. I'm going to start by ironing interfacing onto the waistband, pressing in both the long edges by about 1 centimeter, and then folding it in half and pressing it down. I'll be saving this for later and starting on the bodice. It is finally sewing day and I am sitting here with my front bodice piece. I'm going to mark out all the darts and sew them in for both the shell and the lining layer. Here's where I am with the bodice. I've got the shell layer looking good. I just need to press down all of these darts and here is the lining. The next step will be to sew on the back pieces onto either side. Here is how they will be laid out. And then I'm also going to sew on the long portion that will be the bow. I accidentally made these too big, so I'm going to cut them to size and then start sewing everything together. So I'm trying it on and everything's looking pretty good so far. I do need to switch out the 2 back piece linings for more of this linen fabric and not the silky purple because it will show once the bow is tied. Here are the new pieces that I just cut out. I just had to replace these ones and I guess these will just be scrap fabric now. Here is my big big lining piece, and I have the outer piece ready to go as well. I just need to sew the shoulder seams, sew those together, and then I'm going to layer the two pieces right sides together. I have layered the two pieces right sides together here, and now I am going to sew from here and all the way down to the end, and then along the little edge here. And then I'm also going to start at the beginning again in the center and do it to the other side. I sewed the lining and the outer layer together and it's looking really, really good. I need to close at the bottom and then put on the sleeves, and then it's time to start on the skirt. I am going to finish this all tomorrow since I'm starting to lose daylight, and yeah, I'm super excited. I also understitched the seam allowance to the lining to make sure that it lies flat. Good morning. I finally busted out my serger today, and I've spent the morning going around all of the skirt pieces, around all of the ruffles for the sleeves, and now I'm about to serge around the entirety of each sleeve. Then it's time to iron them and assemble everything together. I am in love with this thing. I forgot to mention that I also went ahead and sewed both the lining and the outer layer together, just with wrong sides together, and serged that edge because the sleeve edge will already be serged, and we'll just sew them together with a nice straight stitch. I also forgot, before I add the sleeves, I'm just going to finish up the bottom of this shirt. So I will turn it inside out again and put these right sides together, and then I'm going to sew all the way across the bottom and then leave one like 3-inch portion undone, and then turn it right side out. It's all now sewed except for this little spot here where I will be turning the whole thing out from. Now that the piece is turned right side out, I ironed the edges down nice and flat, including the portion that is still open. Where is that? I think it's on the other side. Here we go. So we've got that little opening and it's ironed nicely. Now I'm just going to sew a straight stitch all the way across, and that will close this up and make sure everything lies flat when it's on the body. Okay, here is what that line of stitching now looks like, closing up that gap seamlessly. The other side, and the nice edges of the bow are looking so good. Just have to add the sleeves and then this top is totally done. Firstly, I need to sew gathering stitches along this top edge, along one long edge of each rectangle, and then after I've done that, I'm going to fold them over and sew a straight stitch all the way down. Like that and like that. Now that I've put in the gathering stitches and sewed up the sides, I am going to gather both of these to fit this spot right here. I turned them right side out. I'm now going to place this one inside of this one and match up both of their side seams. Here, the larger one is now inside of the smaller one and their side seams are matched up. I'm now going to take the inside out sleeve and insert these into the sleeve, matching up the side seam, and I'm just going to pin all the way around. All 3 layers are now pinned together here, and I'm just going to straight stitch all the way around. I also top stitched the seam allowance to the inside part of the sleeve to make sure that the ruffles lie flat. Here I am just hemming all of the ruffles. Finally, it is time to start on the skirt. I just ironed up my pieces. I serged along all of the edges this morning. What I'm going to do is sew this seam, and then I am going to put a zipper along this edge and this edge right on the side where they will meet, and then sew the rest of that seam down. And then here I'm going to sew down maybe a third to half of the way, and then I'm going to put the slit between these two pieces here. Here I'm sewing everything together, and before I can add the zipper, I have to add the waistband on because the zipper is going to go on the side here. And before I can do that, I have to ensure that this fits perfectly around my waist, aside from the seam allowance that will be used to attach the zipper, and put in some darts. I just made a ton of progress. I went ahead and put in the zipper, and it looks so nice on the side here. I also did a hem along the slit. I just need to hem the bottom of the skirt, and then I need to stitch in the ditch to attach the other side of the waistband. Here I'm at my little makeshift ironing station. I just wanted to show how nicely this hem turned out. I really like it. The slit looks so good. I've only done 2 of these before, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think everything is done. I'll show the inside of the waistband here. Here's my invisible zipper, and then you turn it inside out, and I stitched in the ditch along the whole edge. It really is probably the cleanest waistband. Oh, sorry. Momsy, what are you doing? What? Anyways, clean waistband. Now I just need to clean up my giant mess from sewing in my living room for the past few days and try everything on together.